please welcome our friend Jeff Goldblum.
They write that for all the guests, they said. New walk as,
nice. Yeah.
So nice to see you, Conan.
Nice to see you, too.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
We, you know, I cannot, I have to start our, and I don't do this often, because I don't often hang out with people that might be on the show. I don't have a lot of celebrity pals. But as chance would have it, you and I were in Tampa during this last Super Bowl at the same time. We ran into each other. You've been on the show a number of times. We've talked. We've become friendly. And we went out to eat dinner at a steak restaurant. So Jeff Goldblum and I go out to this steak restaurant. We sit at our table, and there was an electric atmosphere in that restaurant. It was packed with diehard Cardinals fans, but also Steelers fans. And we were sitting in the very middle of the room, and it got ugly fast. People were chanting, people were yelling at each other, and I thought a fight's going to break out any second. And I'm sitting here with Jeff Goldblum, and I felt like were you frightened during that?
I wasn't frightened. No. You weren't frightened either.
I wasn't frightened. You looked frightened to me.
You're making that up.
No,
Did
I'm
I
not.
really?
I'm not. I'm a very...
Really? You
yeah.
didn't tell me that then. You didn't say, hey, you look frightened. Are you scared?
Well, you don't say that there. I didn't want to emit fear. I thought if we did that, either Cardinals fans or Steelers fans would just rip us to shreds in a minute. And we were a little conspicuous there. We're two tall freaks that are well known in the middle of the room. It was like Big Bird and Snuffleupagus trying to have a private meal.
Oh, Bird. Who would I be? I'd be Snuffy, and you'd be Big Bird, or the other way around?
I don't... Either way, it's insulting. What does it matter? The point is, yes. I was wondering, were you a little worried during that? If a fight had broken out...
Yeah.
Would you have been any good in that situation? Are you a guy... I think that's a fair question. You know, I'm pretty well known. I'm pretty good with my mitts.
Yes.
As I proved by going like this, right?
Yeah, you go by the old style, the Queensberry, the John L. Sullivan.
I get my fists far away from my body, and I rock from heel to heel when I fight.
Very effective.
And it's very... And my fights never last long.
Really?
I am beaten immediately.
No, I don't believe it. I think we would have done well. I wasn't frightened. I didn't think they were, because anything can happen. There was hooliganism in the air. You know, there was something.
There was hooliganism in the air.
Something could have happened. But no, I would have, I was talking to some people. Yeah, I've taken a course or two, and I'm playing this part now, you know, and I've, you know, been very well treated by some police types, you know, and I'm very interested in how a guy like me in that position, in that part, and I've tried to learn what I would do to actually play the part. I couldn't do that job in many ways, you know, be a crackerjack. But one of the things those cops, who lifelong cops have to be, is very effective, 8th degree black belt, you know, handlers of things like that. Oh, you know, I've taken a course or two, and I would do anything I could to protect you. If we were there and anything had happened to you,
really?
Yes, I would have been upset. So I would have thrown myself between any ill-doer and you. but I'll bet that...
Who talks this way anymore? There was hooliganism in the air. I saw an ill-doer about.
But I'll bet...
I would have thrashed them with my walking stick, I tell you.
Yeah, I probably would have been terrible. But the two of us together, we may have.
I would love to see, and I think America would like to see, if trouble broke out, Conan O'Brien and Jeff Goldblum were both tall fellows with long limbs, back to back, fighting off ninjas. I think that would be a movie that people would like to see. Would you?
Oh, I think we would do much damage between the two of us. 8 limbs, you know, windmilling around. I think we could have been like Kill Bill. We could have
flailing wildly. Yeah. That would have been horrible.
Right.
We have so much to talk about. We have not scratched the surface. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back more with Jeff Goldblum in a second. We'll see you back. I'm sitting here with Mr. Jeff Goldblum. I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm going to reveal that, in my opinion, and I've gotten to know you a little bit, you're quite the ladies' man. You really are. This guy's the ladies' man. And I get the impression that you're very confident with women. And I'm curious, is that something... I became a little more confident in my own life with women as I got older. Were you this confident with women as a young man?
I don't know if I'm confident in any kind of ladies' man or any kind of confidence now, but in fact, when I was in high school, I was a late bloomer, and I was, you know, early on, I was before puberty hit, if you wanted to know the truth. I was, I think I was very kind of outgoing and very kind of confident, in fact, for one reason or another. But then puberty hit, and I was, you know, something happened, I guess as it does to everybody, or many people. I was, I was...
You were frightened.
I was frightened. Yeah. I was frightened.
As frightened as you were in that restaurant.
You're making that up. I wasn't frightened.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And but no. So you know, it took me a while. And then I think I've told you before. But you know, when I came to, then I grew up in Pittsburgh, and then I went to New York. And New York is a great place, isn't it? And unlike Pittsburgh in the suburbs, I would spend time with my family and and the school but New York is the greatest place in the world. I'm filming there now. I just love it.
Yeah.
You know, I just saw this documentary, which I recommend, called New York by Rick Burns, Ken Burns' brother. And one of the themes of that movie is that New York is a uniquely American place that gets people from the most diverse places on earth into the closest proximity. So you have a lot of trouble and challenge, but brewing creativity.
Yes.
And
it's a burbling stew. Yes.
It's a burbling gumbo.
So you get there. Paint this picture for us. You're a young man. You're in your early 20s. You get there. And did you try and beautiful women walking around? What does Jeff Goldblum do?
Yeah, there sure were. I was 17, and
17.
Yeah, when I first went to New York. Yeah, I was thrilled. This is, you know, and I was thrilled to be on the streets, and you know, any place in New York, if you stop the motion, you have to rub into all sorts of people, not literally with your flesh necessarily, but there's all sorts of people, and I was thrilled to be able to talk to all sorts of people, including girls.
So you just walk up to a girl in New York when you're 17 and strike up a conversation?
You know, I would. I would start that. Yeah.
We're making there's a huge breakthrough happening here. This is incredible. What would you would go up to them and what would you say?
I would. You know, any manner of thing. You know, I like to tell the truth. So I would say, gee, I think you're so pretty, or look at this. Is that?
What are you doing there? What's happening there?
Well, this isn't me touching them. This is me pointing out.
This is you like tickling their nose?
No.
It is. He was tickling their noses.
Although, did I tell you that once? There's a thing you can do. Here, watch this. See if you could do this. If you're on a subway or something, and we're strangers, and we're looking ahead, and you don't know me. And
I'm sitting next to you on the subway.
And I say, excuse me, do you know whether the...
You can't do that.
And if I ask you a question on the heels of that very quickly, you'll be so disarmed you won't go, hey, what did you do to my nose? You can actually do that.
Really? So we're on the subway together, and I've got my New York Post, and we're going along on the subway, and we're going along, and I don't even know you.
That's right.
And we're just going along, and I'm getting near my stop. Why am I moving and you're not moving?
I thought you were going to do it.
No, you do it to me.
I do it to you. Okay, we're moving. And I say, excuse me.
No, you can't do that.
Well, what would you do? What would you do?
First of all, I wouldn't, I would just say, excuse me, but I wouldn't reach over and be like, yes, well. Was that too much, what I did?
You have to do it. No, here's the key is you have to ask a question on the heels of it so they don't go, hey, what are you doing? Get your hand off my nose or something. Go, you try.
Well, then why? Then the nose isn't even important. You could just, you know, you could touch anything if you have a question right away.
It's as if you're tapping them on the shoulder. You're saying, hey, excuse me, do you know whether blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. Hey, how do I get to the zoo, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Ridiculous.
And they won't say.
Ridiculous.
I don't.
People are watching in New York, and they're going to try that tomorrow, and there's going to be a huge spike in crime tomorrow. I should mention, of course, Law & Order, Criminal Intent, for which you're getting rave reviews, your performance in this show. I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but rave reviews for his performance in the show. Airs Sunday nights at 9 on USA Network. Jeff, always a treat when you're here, really. Thank you so much. Jeff Goldblum will be right back. Bill Engvall. Stick around.